The scrape is a series of shallow lagoons and islands created by the RSPB to attract wetland birds. Star attraction is the avocet, tall, elegant, monochrome, and the logo of the RSPB in recognition of its return as a breeding bird after 100 years absence, right here at Minsmere in 1947. Watch the avocets as they sweep their upcurved beaks through the shallow water, looking for small invertebrates in the shallows. Alongside the avocets you may find a variety of terns, common terns with their red bills, the shaggy crested sandwich tern, or the diminutive yellow-billed little tern. There's about 1,500 pairs of black-headed gulls make the soundtrack of Minsmere in spring. Look for them with their chocolate brown heads and deep red beaks. But look carefully and you may find actual black-headed gulls, Mediterranean gulls, with their clean white wingtips that have recently returned to nest at Minsmere. Look out in the autumn for wading birds like dunlin and ruff and maybe spotted redshank, for large numbers of ducks in the winter months, and perhaps for something a little more unusual like the bizarre spoon-billed spoonbill.
The Suffolk Sandlings is a unique mix of heather and grassy heathland. Once widespread on the Suffolk coast, only a few areas now remain. At Minsmere, the RSPB is working on restoring this important habitat, and this is from former farmland or conifer woodland, and it's going to benefit a huge amount of species that rely on this rare habitat. The work we do here will help stone curlews, also known as wailing heath chickens. Now they can be quite difficult to spot amongst all the rabbits that keep the grass short, but if you come at dusk you might hear their wailing call. If you come here on a summer night, you'll probably see nightjars. By day, they sleep on the ground where they're perfectly camouflaged. At dusk, the males make a chirring sound and you might see their white wing bars as they fly. Other birds you can find on the heath is the Dartford warbler, and they really like the gorse bushes. Another bird you may see around the heaths is the cuckoo, with its very distinctive cuckoo call.
If you know where to look, there's a whole host of hidden species here at Minsmere. Digger Alley is one of the best places to be here at Minsmere during June, go through to July and August. This is the home of species like the bee wolf, the pantaloon bee, and the green-eyed flower bee, which are all fantastic species of bees and wasps. They all make their home here in burrows beneath the soil. The bee wolf is one of the largest species you'll come across, and you'll see them digging tunnels up to 1 metre deep under this footpath right here. They'll be out into the bushes, they'll be catching honeybees, they sting them to paralyse them, and they'll be carrying them back to their burrows. They bury them 1 metre deep, and which then they feed them to the baby bee wolves, which they'll be getting ready for hatching later the following year. Now these things, they're fantastic species. They're one of the best pollinators we have on the reserve, and that's because for most of our wasp species that are around on the site, an awful lot of our bee species here, which are solitary bees, things like the green-eyed flower bee, which is tiny but these fantastic big green eyes, making an awful lot of noise for such a small creature, and you'll see them darting around on these tunnels just over here. You also get the pantaloon bees, or hairy leg mining bees, and these are fantastic, quite big bees, with these glorious golden furry legs which they use to sweep the sand out from their burrows. And you'll see them again kind of swimming through the sand just down here. Fantastic pollinators for the area. Now it might seem a bit odd to be looking for a species right by our visitor centre, but this is one of the best places you can find ant lions. Now as an adult, they're these fantastic nocturnal damselflies, beautiful tattooed wings, but as a baby, as a larvae, they're in this ground, in a pit, which they make their own little tiny pits, and inside here it's something that looks a cross between a woodlouse and a scorpion, and it's got pincers and all sorts of other bits and pieces as well, and they dig these pits in order to try and get animals to fall into the pits, and then they come out and they'll grab it, they will suck it dry, eat it and gorge on it until they're large enough to hatch out and become an adult beautiful damselfly again.
Minsmere's vast freshwater reedbeds are home to many rare and elusive special species, and if you sit patiently, they will eventually reveal themselves. Marsh Harriers are one of the easiest to see here at Minsmere. You'll find them flying low, quartering over the reed bed, searching for small prey, or indulging in amazing aerial acrobatics like the sky dancing that they do every year. Minsmere actually held the only pair of Marsh Harriers in the UK in 1971, but now they're a really common sight here around the reserve. Bitterns, in contrast, remain hidden from view. These brown streaky herons are actually perfectly camouflaged within the reeds, much as tigers are in the jungle. You may see them at the edge of reedbed pools fishing, or potentially flying low over the reeds looking for fresh feeding opportunities. In the springtime you can actually hear the male bitterns making a very deep, low, booming noise, a boom, boom noise, which they do to try and attract females to them in the breeding season. You can actually try imitating it at home over an empty glass bottle.
Our reed beds are also home to much smaller birds, such as the reed bunting, the reed warbler and the Ketty's warbler, which is explosively loud. We also have the wonderful bearded tit, not very aptly named because it doesn't have a beard, it has a big Mexican moustache and wears it very proudly. So in our reed beds, you just have to listen for the ping ping noises of them, just to know that they're around and they're near you. They're very hard to spot, but they're beautiful. Because our reed beds are so big, behind me is Island Mere, which is stunning, and the sun's setting, so it's even better. We have otters here, which are highly unusual actually, because these otters like to come out during the daytime, and they don't mind people so much either. They will come out if they hear people, not like most of our wildlife, which is protected because they don't like the sounds of people. So these otters are amazing. You still have to be patient though, you still have to stand and wait, but you'll be surprised, there's many a day where we've had visitors say they've seen them. So come and have a look for yourselves.